Hello and welcome to a very hot afternoon in my craft room here in Northamptonshire. I have my fan blowing off to one side, trying to keep some cool, but it's never too hot or too cold to play with our crafty goodies. So let me introduce myself and say my name is Helen Jennings. I am here in Northamptonshire in the UK. If you are looking for me anywhere, you will find me under the name of Love-a-Duckie, and this is my website, loveaduckie.co.uk. So do head on over there if you would like to check me out a little more. But let me bring in my downward facing camera to start with, and we're going to, the theme for this Stamp Around UK video hop for the month of July, I can't believe it's July already, but is patterns. So I was part of a stamp camp event over the weekend, and we had some challenges, and one of the challenges was a colour challenge, and I created this card using all of the bright colours that were a part of that challenge. And somebody actually said to me, "Oh, are you going to do a video on how you did that weaving?" Today seems like the perfect opportunity. So we're not going to be using these bright colours. We're going to be using we're going to be using paper rather than card this time, but we're going to do a weaving background to make our patterned background for this patterned theme. And I'm going to be using some papers from the Storybook Moments collection, and the Storybook some dies from the Storybook Friends bundle. So this particular suite is still available on sorry, I'm just having a look. It's still available on the Last Chance, and it has two beautiful stamp sets with lots of dies, including labels and frames and all of these sorts of things, vegetables. It also has some gorgeous papers, and in the paper pack is a set of pop-out die cuts, and we're going to have using a few of those today as well. So let us start by creating, put this to one side, hopefully not losing any of them. Let us start by creating a card base. All of these to one side to start with. And, oh, there it is. Right under my nose, can't find my trimmer. I thought we'd do a square card this time, and I'm going to make it just under 5 inches. So it's actually going to be 12.5 centimeters. So I'm going to cut it this way at 12.5 centimeters. So what's the short end of your trimmer, and then we're going to need to open our trimmer out, because 2 times 12.5 is 25. So we're going to cut it this way at 25 centimeters, and then score it at 12.5. So there is our 12.5, just under 5 inch card base. You can of course make it 5 inches if that makes it easier for you. I'm going to cut some of this DSP, this Lost Lagoon patterned DSP. I'm going to cut this at 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters. We shall have that. Will sit on the front of our card base. We'll pop that up there for just now. Now I've already cut my mat that I'm going to be using as my mat to weave with, and I've actually cut it so it is 10.5 centimeters. No, 10 centimeters. 10 centimeters that way. 10 centimeters that way by 11 centimeters this way. So 10 by 11. And if you are joining us from elsewhere in the world, although this is a Stamp Around UK, there's no reason why you shouldn't join us from anywhere in the world. When I come to put this up on my blog, I will add in some imperial measurements as well. But for the moment, I'm just going in centimetres. So 10 centimetres by 11. Now, on the 10 centimetre side, we are going to want to mark it. Let me find a pencil. Actually, no, we're going to score it. Score it would be the easiest thing to do. There's no reason why we shouldn't score it. We're going to score it top and bottom at 0.5 centimetre. And this is just going to be a guideline for us when it comes to cutting. So we're now going to cut a piece of card. Let me just cut that down there. So we are going to cut it. And all of these slits, all of these cuts are going to go from that top score line, which might not show you, as you can see it there. They're going to go from the top score line down to the bottom score line. I'm going to stand up for this job. And we're going to start at 0.5 centimetre. Bring in our cutting blade. Going to line up the little notch. Going the wrong way. The little notch that's on the cutting blade just here. We're going to line that up with our embossed line, and we're going to cut from that embossed line to the bottom. We're going to repeat that at 1.5. The moment I'm measuring it on this side. So we did 0.5 centimetre first. This was 1 centimetre. Then we're going to go 2 centimetres. I'm going to swing it round and start measuring it from this side. You can do it from this side all the way across. It's just that doing it that side when you've only got a narrow piece gives you a little bit more stability at the top there. So that's 2.5. I now want 3.5. Four and a half. So as you can see, we're just going centimetre increments. 5.5. 6.5. 7.5. 8.5. And 9.5. And then that will leave you another 0.5 centimetre that end. So as you can see that, you've got your 0.5 centimetres either end, and then you've got all of these slits going down between those two embossed lines. So this is our mat in which we are going to weave. Now for my weaving, I've cut some 1 centimetre wide strips. Now they need to be at least 10 centimetres long. Other than that, it doesn't really matter as long as they are 10 centimetres long. So just going to decide now what. You can see that green one is shorter than the others, but still is long enough. And then that one, and then that one. Okay. So let's see how we go. So we're going to start, like any weaving, we're going to go under and over, but we're going to go over the first 0.5 centimetre strip, under, over, under, over. Doesn't really matter if you go the other way, but just as long as you alternate which way you go with each strip. Let's take that through there, and then we will bring that up to the top. Don't worry about these bits that are sticking over for now. Then we'll come in with our blue piece. So the blue in this, both the blue, this is actually wild wheat, this is actually boho blue. So they are colours that are now retired, but that doesn't mean we can't play them with them. So this one we went over on that 1/2 inch strip to start with. So this one we're going to go under and then over and then under. So that will then start to create our squares, our grid-like pattern. Let's bring that up and have a bit of a play with it. If you're not happy with what's showing in the, bring it that way a little bit, and then that strawberry will show in that middle piece as well. Let's bring in our Lost Lagoon piece. So that one's over, that one's under. This one needs to go over to start with and then under. Piece over on that end bit. Let's wiggle that up. So we're just pushing it up. It won't go right up against the piece next to it. You just want to push it up gently as far as you can. And then we've got our old olive piece that's going to go under to start with and then over. This one is only just about long enough, but that doesn't matter. It is long enough. That's all that matters. So there we are. There's our old olive piece. Now we're going to go back again to this wild wheat piece. So that one is under, this one is over. Just feeding it through. Please. And because the pattern is only just really peeking through, you don't need to worry too much about the orientation of the paper when you're cutting strips. It's a good way of using up little oddments of paper. Back to our strawberries. This one wants to go under and over. You can obviously do this with all sorts of papers, with card, ribbon. You could emboss bits of card so it was textured. Sorts of different things that you weave with. Back to the Lost Lagoon one. And over. And then last but not least, let's push that one up a little bit, just to give me the most room in the bottom here. I can always wiggle them back again. This one is going This last one is going to be by far the fiddliest because you are you haven't got as much room left. Spinning that over. There you go. That's it. Haven't got quite so much give in your strip. But it will be just a tad more fiddly to get this one through. Here you come. Nearly there. Oh, at least through that last little bit. Right. Just have a little play and even those up a little bit. There we have our basic mat that has been woven. Just to pop a little bit of glue on the bits that are going over the top. Do the same on the other side. Hold those in place. I'm not going to worry so much about the bits on the back because they will be held in place when I stick it to the front of the card. I'm going to take some scissors and just snip off those end bits. And there we have a beautiful patterned woven background. And it sort of has got an almost basket weave effect on it because we've used that plum cake card as the background. So some other bits here. I've got a frame that I've die cut with this beautiful frame die from the Storybook Friends set that will sit on there. And I've also got some of the little pop out die cut pieces. Got this lovely little squirrel and a watering can, some little pots here that we will pop up on here. And I think we'll also add in a bit of wine around our mat as well. So I've got some linen thread here. To wrap that round here a couple of times. Let's try that with a knot. Into a little bow. Out. Nip that off. Right. See how my glue is playing today. It is so warm in here. Having no problems getting it to run. It's just a little too runny. So there is I want that. I'm going to stick this on as well. Do I want it on a jaunty angle? What are we thinking? I may well put that on a jaunty angle. Just going to add some glue to the back of these strips on the back that are coming across, and then that will hold them all in place quite nicely. Good. Press it down. Right. I've got a little bit that's stuck in that frame. Let's get rid of that. I've got some of my multi-purpose adhesive that I have transferred to a little bottle here with a fine tip on it. Let's use that just to add some little spots of glue to the back of my frame. Obviously, if I'd have been on the ball and awake, I could have cut it with some of the double-sided sticky on the back. Just under that twine, I think. Yes. And then we'll put our little squirrel in. We'll get some dimensionals. Lifted my paper to one side. Let's get some dimensionals and pop these up. Like that. There. Add our little pots just in front of him. So obviously I don't need another dimensional right on that edge because it's just going to overlap that other one that's already, the watering can that's already popped up. So I'll just put a little spot of multi-purpose adhesive on the end of that. And they stick together. There we are. So you've got that lovely weaving with all those patterned papers in the background. Our little squirrel, our little die cut outs. There's some beautiful stamps, so we could have stamped and coloured one in and used those. We could have had all sorts of creatures, and there's lots of lovely pop outs. There's lots of things on in there as well. You could use different colours and have different different occasions. To get the thank you so very much. My little blocks seem to have wandered off. Thank you so very much. And I think we will stamp this in. I think we'll go for Old Olive, which is the colour of the pots and things. And we've got some Old Olive in the background too. Just want a little bit of let's stamp that onto there. Now, whether I want to cut these. I think I quite like that, just like that. I might just take the edge of it and just dip it into my Old Olive ink, just to give it a little bit of a frame. Very subtle little frame. And then here I've got some of the adhesive back pearl trio. And I thought this sort of really greeny one just here would work perfectly. Let's have one there. And then have one up here. And we'll bring one in down here. That one wasn't meant to be in, it escaped from my sheet. We will of course need an insert for this. So our card base 12.5 by 12.5. I'm going to cut this 11.5. 11.5. And let's see what paper have we got. I think I'll take a couple of strips of the DSP. Maybe both 1.5 centimetres. Bit of a play with those. To 11.5. That will sort of tie in quite nicely with the strips on the front that have been used for weaving. Bottle is actually getting quite empty. One of the bonuses of it being warm is that it keeps the glue running, so you're getting more out of your bottle without having to fight it too much. into the insert of our card. Obviously, we don't actually, oh, sorry, making you wobble. We don't actually stock 5x5 envelopes. So you may have some in your stash already, or if not, to create one. So there we go. There's our patterns created by our woven background using the lovely Storybook friends. Make this cute little thank you card. And thank you so very much for watching my video. Do make sure, as always, with the Stamp Around UK video hop, do make sure that you check out down below and find all the links to all the other videos that are taking part in this hop. And find yourself a shady space on a sunny afternoon, and you'll be able to hop around and see everybody else's patterns inspiration for this patterns video hop. So it's lovely to be with you. Hopefully I will be back with you again next month for the video hop. In the meantime, keep cool and have fun crafting, and I'll catch up again with you all very soon.